So then you take an 18-month break
Right.
from swimming. Was that soul-searching time? Was that let's catch up on life time? What was that for you?
It was a little bit of everything. I knew that I had to deal with a lot of my sponsors that if I had a successful Beijing, that I wouldn't have any requirements in what was it, 2009. And so when I did have that successful Olympics, I was like, I'm going to take a year off. And then that year bled into a year and a half. But I got married that year. I traveled. I did a lot of cool things. I did Dance with the Stars. I did a lot of sides. Yeah, I was a judge on Iron Chef. And
did you do shows where you were cooking?
I have since. I competed on Chopped, which was really fun. And yeah, so I'm really into cooking.
Okay, so some suggested at that time that you were retiring from swimming, and that bothered you.
Yeah, it always bothered me because I never, whenever people have suggested that I'm retiring, it's like I never said that. Why would I retire? When it really bothered me was in 2012. It was, you know, I was going into my third Olympics. I'm 29, I'm married. And a lot of people are like, well, obviously you're going to retire and then have babies. Like, just, you know, matter of factly, like that's what you're supposed to do. And, you know, my male counterparts weren't getting those same questions.
Right. It felt sexist to you.
It's pretty sexist, and it's unintentionally sexist. I think a lot of people...
they're not trying to insult you.
They're not trying to insult me and say, like, you belong in the kitchen, you're pregnant, or anything like that. But it is insulting in a way when you have teammates that are older than you, that are in the same spot in life and aren't getting those questions of, obviously, you're going to retire. It's just something that female athletes, I think, are asked more often.
2011, you go to the FINA World Championships and you win 3 gold medals. So this isn't like you're just hanging on here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still a great swimmer.
Right.
And now the Olympics are right around the corner, so here we go again.
Right.
Where were you on the totem pole? Where were you? I mean, this is one of the most decorated Olympians out of the U.S. ever. And you've got 11 medals at this point in your life. And so do you go in as kind of the veteran that everybody has to be aware of, or are you know, just trying to hang on to this Olympic dream?
It was the veteran. I went in as the veteran as, you know, I wanted to qualify for, you know, 1 or 2 individual events. I was hoping to qualify in the 100 butterfly and the 100 backstroke. And I ended up, you know, missing those events, and I qualified in the 400 freestyle relay. Which
is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, you had the best qualifying time.
In the relay, I had the best qualifying time.
In the relay?
Yes.
2, your coach, Terry McKeever, is now the Olympic coach.
The head coach, yeah.
The head coach. But even though you have the best time, you're not picked as one of the 4 that are going to swim.
You know, I was ticked. I thought that I had the experience that a lot of the younger ones didn't, and but ultimately I was left off, and I was, you know, told. I was really told that, you know, this Olympics is you being a leader, and not so much swimming so much, which was tough.
Yeah, I would imagine that hurt to some degree.
It did. It hurt.
This is one of your closest allies who, in essence, isn't picking you, and Terry McKeever.
Right. You know, she didn't pick me, and then on top of that, you know, she's saying that I'm moving into this leadership role, which, you know, she meant well when she said that. But what hurt me the most, more than anything, was the way that people treated me at that meet. You know, they wouldn't look you in the eye, and it's like if they saw you coming down the hall, they would go the other way, just really trying to avoid you.
Why do you think that was?
I think it's twofold. One, they either assume that you're going to freak out and they just want to, you know, get away, not be a part of it, which is, you know, I've been on the national team for so many years and I've never done anything to freak out. You know, I've never freaked out in front of anybody or lost my cool. And so I've never done anything to lead them to believe that. So that was hurtful. And then in the other ways, they don't know what to say, and I get that. I totally get that. But they really treated me like I was dying of like a terminal illness. Like they were so sad for me, and it's like, you guys, it's a swim meet. So, you know, that was the first day of that Olympics, and then I had 7 more days of swimming, and so I really, you know, even though I wasn't on that night relay, I had 7 more days of being the team captain and really taking care of my teammates. And I had a lot of teammates from Cal that are on that Olympic team and just friends from many, many years. And so I embraced that role of just helping other people as much as possible. Like if I could see that someone's starting to freak out, try and bring them back down to earth and just help them in any way that I could. And that was tough, but I'm really, really glad that I was a part of that team.
That relay team ended up with a bronze medal.
Correct.
Do you think it would have been better had Natalie Coughlin been
It's hard
in
to
the
say
pool?
that. I'm going to sound like so arrogant if I said otherwise, but I really don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But I mean, I know myself. I've always been someone who has performed even better at night. If I had a prelim and a final, I was always going to be better at night. I would, you know, you learn how to race with your experience. You know, there's a lot of experience. It's important in terms of relay takeoffs, in terms of riding other people's wake, in terms of your strategy. And that's something that the younger ones don't necessarily have. But that being said, everyone's going to advocate for themselves. We didn't make the Olympic team by saying, you know, being a wallflower and thinking that we're not the best.
But you end up with a medal
Correct.
for it. So that's 12, which ties you for the most ever by a female Olympic swimmer in
Right.
U.S. history. I mean, that's